you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today.
Happy to.
So first off, congratulations on Richard III. I haven't gotten to see it, but I did see the documentary, and it looked really intense and like a lot of work, but fun at the same time. So you are an Oscar-winning actor. What made you decide to put your movie career on hold and dedicate yourself to theater for a while?
Well, I'm not even sure I thought of it as putting my movie career on hold. I think that when I got to the end of 1999, where I had sort of pretty much been spending the previous 12 years trying to see if I could build a film career, and after American Beauty came out, it was like, well, that kind of went better than I could have possibly hoped. And I was kind of, somewhere in the back of my mind, I was thinking about what was next. Was I going to, I guess, sort of take advantage of the place I found myself in and, make lots of money and do lots of movies and try to stay on those lists and be the guy. And I was like, yeah, but I kind of feel like I've done it. And I also knew I didn't want to fall into the trap that I have seen happen so often, which is that actors end up making a lot of movies they probably shouldn't make for money and for prestige. And the truth is, I was at a point in my own life when I wanted to do something that was outside of my own career, outside of my own ambition. I mean, I'd really been driven for a long time, a kind of personal ambition to see if I could do this thing. And then I was like, I'm not really interested in that anymore. I want something else. I want something different. I want something that's a new challenge. And that's when the Old Vic Theater, where I had worked the year before in '98 doing a production of a play called The Iceman Cometh. And I fell in love with that theater, and it turns out that it had just been purchased by a trust, and they were on the hunt for an artistic director. And a year later, as close to Dick Cheney as I'll ever get, I put my name in the ring and said, I think this is something I'd like to do. So I never really viewed it that I was walking away from something. I viewed it that I was walking towards something. And I honestly feel that it was the best decision I could have possibly made. The work that I've done in the last 10 years, on stage, the directors I've worked with, the roles that I've played, has made me a better actor. And so it was a good choice.
I know that you were very dedicated to your role, and the deformities you chose to have were very interesting. You had the hump, and then you had like the twisted, deformed leg.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
Well, part of it was, I talked to a lot of actors who'd played Richard III in the past, and I was kind of hoping they'd give me the secret key of how to play him, and of course nobody ever did that for me. But they did. Every single one of these actors said to me, "Be careful," and I was like, what do you mean be careful? And they said, I screwed my neck up, my knee went out, my back went out, it was terrible, I almost killed myself. So I had to think long and hard about, well, what can I do that will work in terms of the look of it, but will also protect me from being injured, because I was going to be doing this production longer than any of those other actors had done their productions. This is 10 months and over 200 performances. So there was one really important thing. I'll show it to you this way. When you're on stage, you're either on a flat stage like this, or you're on the stage that we were on, which is called a raked stage, which is like that. And that means that from your point of view, the audience, the stage goes up like this, right? So all those doors you see on the set of Richard III, they actually get smaller as they go. They don't look that way to you, it just looks like a perspective, right? But that means that every actor is off balance. We're all being either pushed forward, or if you're facing this way, you're pushed that way, or facing that way, you're pushed that way. So the reason that I chose to do what I did, which was I twisted my leg, I put this clamp on it that looked really, painful. I put myself on one toe and I crouched, because that way I was the only actor on stage who was in balance. Yes. And I protected myself for 10 months. That's why I did it that way.
And one last question. Like you said, you did like a 3-continent tour, 200 performances. Was there ever a day when you woke up and you were like, I'm tired, I don't want to do this right now, or I don't want to do this?
Absolutely. There are probably many days where that happens. I'm sure that happens to anybody in any line of work that they're in. But here's what I believe in: Dr. Theater. Because no matter how I'm feeling, no matter how I might start a production where I don't know how I'm going to do it. And it was particularly hard in some cases, like in Hong Kong. I remember we had a performance schedule where we did a tech rehearsal, we did a dress rehearsal, we opened the show on a Friday, we had 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. So we did 5, maybe 6, 7 times we did it in the course of 5 days, and I was exhausted. But there is this thing that happens, which is that if you just get on the horse and you let it take you, by the end of the night, Dr. Theater has done his work, and you feel better for having done it. You feel energized,
It's worth it.
and it's always been worth it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you.